let's visit today the concept of right and wrong. So quite often we go down a particular road, we take a particular step thinking that it's going to take us in the appropriate direction. And then somewhere along the way, things take a turn for the worse. And next thing you know, we find ourselves cursing every single step that we took along the journey, right? And then give it another good several years, and you look back on that very same scenario and you go, that really was the best thing that I possibly could have done. Why was I judging it as being the wrong thing? But you see, right and wrong is all in the moment in regards to situations like that, right? So when things are going the way you want them to, of course you're not going to think that you made a mistake. And when things are going the opposite, like, and they're going downhill and taking a turn for the worse, and you're up, SH1T Creek and going, I don't even have a friggin' paddle and I don't know what else to do, of course you're going to go, I made a stupid mistake. But that's a feeling in the moment. Feelings are very valid, obviously. They're what's driving your decisions in the present moment. But when you get caught up in them to the extent that they begin to take over the show, then all judgment, all sense of appropriateness goes out the window. And of course, then you're going to look at a situation that you thought was going to be right, and then it's wrong, and the situation that's wrong suddenly turns right, and you don't even know where the hell you stand in the first place because you don't know if you're doing something right or wrong. And you're likely finding yourself in just such a scenario at this particular moment in time, albeit it's probably a little bit more involved with reflecting upon a past moment and taking a look at how you feel you've just been the most idiotic person that you possibly could have been and taken a wrong turn. Now, what area of your life might this relate to? That's going to be different for each individual, dependent upon where this new moon tends to fall in your own personal horoscope, planets that it's forming aspects to, etc. For more information on that, why don't you schedule in an Empower Hour, my new way of working with you astrologically. I want to take you beyond prediction to empowerment. The link to my new Empower Hours are above. Great. So let's get into this whole concept of how you have been the most idiotic person that you could have possibly been. Guess what? You probably haven't been. You probably haven't been. You saw a situation as providing an opportunity to fulfill your needs. And then when you got caught up in it, you began to see, I'm not really having my needs met by this particular scenario. You saw it as something that felt righteous and was a good cause to put your energy towards. And then suddenly you're seeing some situations connected to it that don't really, kind of have that glossy shine that they used to previously have. And so you're taking a look at the situation that you're involved in and you're going, how could I have been so dumb? How could I have done this? How could I have thought that this was going to be such a good thing to do when obviously it's the wrong thing to do? And then your frustration is getting boosted. You're getting really riled up. And that's all right and appropriate for the moment, right? Sometimes we have to go through the scenario of getting in to get out, okay? So what do I mean by that? Let's kind of analyze that a little more deeply. But let's first talk a little bit about where this new moon is falling, which is Purva Bhadrapada Nakshatra. Purva Bhadrapada Nakshatra, think of an energy, right, that can both bring something down and lift something up. Purva Bhadrapada quite often has a lot of intensity associated with it because of the fact that it can lift things up. So when frustration's involved in the situation, it can lift that up. But when we get caught up in that situation, into that frustration, so to speak, then we're blocked in terms of bringing down an answer, in terms of letting inspiration flow through us, right? Because that inspiration is taking the form of anger and ire and all those emotions that we don't want to get involved in, and that a lot of people want to tell you are really negative, but they're not. They're something that you need to experience, that you need to work through. Anger on one level is a motivating factor, right? It's trying to tell you you need to create some change, right? And with this situation that you're dealing with, there may be some adjustments that you need to make too. But in order for you to see the appropriate adjustments that you really need to make, you first need to get that anger out of the way. You see, you're judging the situation based upon how you thought your needs were going to be fulfilled. You're judging the situation as being the right thing to do and backing a good cause by your opinion of that cause. And along the way, those opinions change. Sometimes we can see a cause as being a good cause to put our energy behind, and we see it in a different way, much like what I was saying, and we go, maybe this is something that I don't want to be involved in because of the way that this person acts or because of the way that that person acts. And then in essence, we're judging that person, right? We go, well, they should be behaving this way or they should be behaving that way. And there are some situations where that's actually right and appropriate. But there are other situations where we're making attitude judgments or judging a person who really has a lot of good intent and has a good heart as, perhaps being a little bit nefarious because they don't hold the exact same view of approaching the cause as we do, right? And sometimes similarly, we can go, right, my needs need to be met in this particular way. I need to get paid X amount of money. I need to have things flow in this particular direction. And that when those needs don't get fulfilled in precisely the way that we want them to, we're like a toddler throwing a tantrum, right? Sometimes we can be worse than toddlers throwing tantrums, to be fair, right? And so it boils down to a matter of ego perception, which is natural for each individual. I have it, you have it, we all have it, right? And our ego gets too involved in how we're wanting things to turn out, or how we think people should go about particular things. And it's that point where we make judgments, where we see something that is right as being wrong, where we see something that we thought was going to fulfill our needs as something where we're being taken advantage of. And so what do you need to do at this particular moment in time? You need to let yourself be pissed off. That's okay. It's okay to be angry. It's okay to be frustrated. And sometimes you have to get into that space so you can move all of that energy out of the way so you can have a degree of clarity. So you can actually see that, well, actually, if I take a look at this situation, my needs really are being met. And actually, by me surrendering a little bit of how my ego saw things as, they needed to be as per my ego, if I can let go of that, I can see how maybe surrendering a little bit of that can serve this person, this person, this person, this person, and me all at the same time, right? And sometimes you can see how something that you thought was wrong was something that actually had the bigger picture in consideration. And I'm going to bet that's precisely what you're dealing with. And if you could use a little bit of help gaining perspective on your particular situation, once again, the all-new Empower Hours, you can have prediction if you want, but I don't want to just tell you what and when. I want you to understand why, so you can make decisions from your heart. All new Empower Hours available at the link above. That's going to do it for this look at the new moon in Purva Bhadrapada Nakshatra. I forgot what date the new moon is on. It's on the 2nd of March, 2022. Until next time, please do take the very best care of yourself and hope to talk to you soon. Bye now.